Welcome back to part 2 of the Sander refurbishment. I've now taken all the reeds off, cleaned them, checked the valves and waxed them back onto the blocks, put it back together. Sounds actually not too bad at all. It does need tuning, but up against what it sounded like when I first had it, it sounds really quite passably okay. Etc. And even with the low reading, in further news, its original owner has been in touch with me after seeing the first video, and I now know that it was first sold by that wonderful Mally in Cleckheaton in June 1990. Here's a picture of the receipt. I've now got to make some decisions. Sorry, large bird just landed outside. I've now got to make decisions about how I want to tune it. I'm, as most of you probably already know, a Hohner man at heart. So I could tune it to have a Hohner amount of tremolo, but that's not what Castagnari's are for. I also don't want to tune it as dry as a normal Castagnari is, so I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, what I refer to as my sauterelle tuning, because that seems to be where most sauterelles that I've had in the workshop seem to be sitting. So I'll just pop up my tuning chart on the computer screen and we'll have a look at it. So this is my tuning chart I use in the workshop. It looks like this because Dirk's tuner sits in the middle of it and I can read both at the same time, but we don't need that at the moment. Go away. I'll zoom in on this side as best I can. So we have 3 columns labelled for no very good reason: Hohner, Sauterelle and Castagnari. Can we see my pointy thing? Yes. So at D, which is where I normally look at things because it's 20 cents on my Hohner scale, that's got a fair amount of tremolo. What I'm going to be tuning to is 12.1, which is just more than half, obviously, as opposed to the Sauterelle standard, which would be around 8.4. So when I say halfway between Hohner and Castagnari, it's drier than that, but sufficient tremolo to make it sound interesting. My plan is, this is the G reed block, resting on top of my tuning table. I'm going to tune the G reed block to my tuning schema outside of the melodion to get it in, more or less in tune. I'll then fit the block in the melodion and record any offsets that I need to sort out, and then have another go round the loop. So I'm going to tune it once on the tuning table and once in the box, because although the tuning tables will be close, it won't be right, because obviously it's surrounded by a shed here rather than a set of bellows. using my standard tuning tools, a valve lifter or support, a reed scraper, which is basically an 1/8 inch drill. Whoop. It won't focus, of course. 1/8 inch drill piece which has been ground down to allow me to scrape the base of the reeds to make them go flatter. And my file, which is a Valorbi. Anyway, good quality. This happens to be a chainsaw sharpening blade, I believe, 3-sided, for filing the tips of reeds to make them go sharper. So we start. I've now got, as shown earlier, my tuning meter and tuning chart up on the screen on the computer. My little microphone plugged into the computer. Magnetically attaches to the front of the tuning bench. And away we go. So that's showing me it's, yeah, haven't got enough hands to do this really. About 1 cent flat. If I hold the reed block down, which I couldn't do because I was holding the camera up, it comes out at about 0.6 of a cent flat, which is close enough for outside of the box, because I'm going to need to do fine tuning afterwards, so it's not worth faffing with. The inside reed is showing as being just over a cent flat, so I'll pop it up through the reed plate and just give it a little tickle with the file. Spot on. So now it's just a matter of working my way all the way down. This side is the pitch side of the reed block, so everything's tuned to pitch, so I don't need my table yet. Slightly flat. Okay, I've worked my way up the pitch side of the block and everything's now there or thereabouts. So now I need to work my way up the tremolo side. Clean a bit of wax off. So the first reed is D4, which according to my chart should be 12 cents, 12.1 cents sharp. It's currently 4. It's 9. spot on 12 cents. F-sharp 4 needs to be 10.9, it's currently not very much at all, 2. Seven. A little bit too much. Come on, play the game. There we go. So that's the first reed plates done. You can sound both at the same time. They sound to be beating at about the same rate. And just like the pitch side, I've now got to work all my way down the tremolo side, sharpening all the reeds because they're currently very dry and I don't want it to sound like that. So I'll bring you back when I've done that. We'll put it back in the box and see what it sounds like. I've completed the tuning of the G row. It sounds fine to me now. I've got to check it in the box yet, which I'll show you what I do in a while. But currently now has got a bit more tremolo. Which I prefer to the Castagnari sound, so Castagnari G. The G I prefer. Personal preference, that's why I like when people say, can you tune my melodion? I like to bring them into the workshop, and I've got examples of most tunings on various boxes around and get them to listen and tell me what they really want, what they really want, rather than can you just make it dry or wet, because that doesn't really mean anything. So now I've got to tune the D block, which is the same tuning method as the G block, and the bass reed block up the middle, which is just all tuned to pitch. And then we'll have a look at how I do tuning in the box for the final tuning. Oh, and then do the bass end. I always forget the bass end. Been through the basses and tuned them. I've currently got the low reeds and the thirds taped off as part of my pre-planning for the stops I want to put in. So now all I need to do is check the tuning of the reeds inside the box, and to do that I'll be using Dirk's tuner. And if you bear with me while I turn the camera around, we'll have a look at what I do. So this is Dirk's tuner, works off this little microphone, and is currently set up to look at two treble reeds, reed 1 and reed 2. It'll tell me how many cents off pitch they are. Reed 2 set to the my Saltrell tuning schema, so I can see what the state of both reeds are at the same time whilst they're in the box. So I'll play a G. So they're both a bit flat. Of course, it won't hold for long. That reads 4 cents flat. The other reed is also 4 cents flat. But the tremolo, the beating, which is the figure in the middle, is not far out at all. But what I'll have to do is go through each note in turn. So that's a bit better, but the tremolo's a bit slow. And so on. I'll note down the offset. So for that one, for the G, I need to bring the pitch read up about 4 cents. And the tremolo read about the same amount. I'll write all these numbers down on a piece of paper. If I can, I'll do the tuning inside the box. If it becomes fiddly, I can take the reeds out. And even if, for instance, the G, that I've got to bring up 4 cents because it's currently showing -4 in the box. If I put it on my tuning and it says it's spot on, I still know I need to raise it 4 cents from what it's reporting, so that when it goes back in the box it'll be correct. And it's just a faff. You have to go through each button using Dirk's tuner, find out what the offsets are, then either in the box if you can or on the tuning bench correct those offsets. We can also do the chords, well, is it going to play the game? Ah. That's not bad at all, in fact. C, C, D, E. C chord's a bit flat. So again, it's just a matter of working the way through. I can also look at the octaves, so the basses. I've currently not got the large bass reed in, so there's only 2 reeds. If I take the bit of tape off, you could see the G2 reed as well. But again, it's just a matter of writing down the offset and correcting it. So that's how I fine tune boxes with the reeds in the box. It's a faff, but you do end up with a really nicely tuned box. That's it for this episode. The next thing I'm going to do is try and fix this. All this clatteriness. basically I'm going to take the bass apart and bush out the bass buttons. See you later.